The leaders of the top 7 industrial nations, including the US, the UK, Germany and France, called on the World Health Organization to investigate again where the COVID-19 virus came from. But would you believe it if I told you they most likely knew the answer already, and they're not holding their breath for a new report from the WHO? Watch what Donald Trump said over 1 year ago on the 1st of May, 2020.
And my question is, have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Now, watch how Joe Biden answered a reporter who asked whether a full report will be published at the end of the 90-day investigation he recently ordered.
Yes, that's unless there's something I'm unaware of.
Has the U.S. government been sitting on the evidence? How come the story is only making waves now? Also, I will explain the strong scientific evidence supporting the lab origin theory, and you will be surprised. Keep watching until the end, and there are lots of interesting material we're covering today. I'm Sharon, and this is Straight Talk. Natural viruses evolve and function according to the laws of nature, which has its way of maintaining a natural equilibrium. Viruses developed in labs don't fit in with nature's plan and may even pose a long-term existential threat to humanity. For instance, we know that the coronavirus attacks different organs in different people. For some, their symptoms persist for a long time, such as in the case of so-called long COVID. It is unknown whether such developments are due to the genetic modification involved. If the lab origin theory is confirmed, many safeguards will have to be re-examined and adapted, including vaccines and treatments. Unless the party responsible comes clean with what they've done to the virus, it will take a long time, a great deal of effort for scientists to find out exactly how it functions before they can work on solutions. Alarm bells rang when virologists saw that the virus was exceptionally well adapted to human infection right from the beginning. Scientists know that zoonotic viruses, meaning those transferred from animal to human, typically require quite a few major mutations over a long period of time to achieve this level of transmissibility in human beings. And the process usually involves an intermediate host before becoming infectious to humans. In the case of COVID-19, an intermediate host has yet to be determined, and the first nodal variant was not detected until about a year later in the UK. Experts say this kind of transmissibility could only be achieved in what's known as gain-of-function research, by growing the virus on human cells in a laboratory until the optimum is achieved. So what is gain-of-function research? This is the study of the potential damage that a given virus could cause in the population by strengthening the ability of the virus to infect humans. Scientists achieve this by modifying the genetic sequences of different viruses. You heard me right. Scientists genetically alter viruses to see if they can cause pandemics. If this is not playing with fire, I don't know what it is. Gain-of-function research could potentially create monster viruses that could be leaked, accidentally or otherwise, and could inflict devastating harm on humanity. This is precisely the reason why the US government suspended funding to gain-of-function research starting in 2014. Scientists found something that has never been seen in any SARS-like bat coronaviruses: a furin cleavage site in the COVID-19 virus protein. This rare feature makes the COVID-19 virus super-infectious and often deadly for high-risk people. This is because it allows the novel coronavirus to use furin, a type of enzyme that exists in the human body, to dissolve the coating of the virus so it can release its genetic material to infect human cells. You might say, although this is a rare occurrence in nature, it could still happen naturally. But what if I told you that the furin cleavage site contains a genetic sequence that has never existed naturally in the entire class of coronaviruses? The sequence is known as double CGG. It supercharges the furin cleavage site, which ultimately enables the virus to attach itself so effectively to human cells. So two extremely rare things happened simultaneously with the COVID-19 virus. A furin cleavage site that has never existed naturally in closely related bat coronaviruses, and a genetic code in the furin cleavage site that has never been found in the entire class of coronaviruses. And what are the odds of the two events occurring at the same time? Some scientists put the odds at as low as 1 in 13.8 billion. Here is something else you may find interesting. The double CGG genetic sequence is commonly used by scientists to insert into viruses in gain-of-function research because the sequence is powerful and the work is trackable. Now, do you see why the lab origin theory should never have been dismissed? While the theory was rejected as a conspiracy by major media outlets, some people in the US government did take it seriously and even secured some evidence through intelligence work. From the answer Trump gave to the reporter a year ago, we know that the Trump administration was already extremely doubtful that the virus had come from nature. But why didn't they take any action? Because there was a deep split in the US government, and the administration's hands were tied. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo described the problem with the intelligence community within the State Department.
There were folks all over the community who just didn't want to talk about this, who wanted to stay focused on other things. They didn't want the world to know that the Chinese Communist Party was in the process of covering up what turns out to have been several million losses of life. You know, I'll leave that to others to speculate.
What turned the situation around is the work done recently by the intelligence agency within the US military, which is separate from that of the State Department. The Defense Intelligence Agency, or DIA, has been working secretly with a high-ranking Chinese defector for more than 3 months. When I say secretly, I mean they even kept it from CIA and FBI, among others. Those agencies didn't know until this news first broke out on a US conservative media site, Red State. Why did the DIA do that? You will find out in just a minute. The defector is said to possess direct information about special weapons programs in China, including biological weapons programs linked to the virology lab in Wuhan. The defector has given US officials extensive and detailed information on the subject. As early as last September, there were rumors already circulating that a defector from the Chinese People's Liberation Army had fled to Europe. The individual reportedly had been under the protection of an undisclosed European government. The person was reluctant to work with the CIA and some other Western intelligence agencies because that person knew they had been heavily infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. This was why the US military intelligence got involved and made sure that the cooperation was kept a secret. American journalist and Emmy Award winner Adam Hoseley tweeted on June the 4th that China has gone so far as to have reverse engineered the virus in order to show that there had been an evolution from naturally occurring viruses. US Senator Rand Paul said in a televised interview that the Wuhan lab is now experimenting with viruses with an astounding 15% mortality rate. All this information seems to have led the change of mood in the US towards China. On May the 26th, President Joe Biden ordered all US intelligence agencies to get to the bottom of the origins of the COVID-19 virus. Looks like the intelligence teams of the US military and the State Department will spend a good part of the 90 days reaching a consensus. It is my view that the US and very likely a number of other leaders of Western nations already have the information they need, and it may well force their hand politically. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Please share your comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell for notification of all new releases. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.